Hello friends, today we're in Birmingham, Michigan, and the oldest cemetery in this beautiful town is called Greenwood Cemetery. It was founded in 1825, and it is full of graves and monuments of names you would recognize, of local streets, judges, civic buildings, and people from history. This cemetery has a founding that goes back to 1825, and it's founded in a great tragedy in the history of Birmingham. And we're going to tell you about the tragedy of the Utter family murders that happened here just about 200 years ago. One of the very nice things about this cemetery is they take their history very seriously here, and they support people coming and looking and researching. There's a large bulletin board poster type thing here with the map and diagram of section numbers of the cemetery. There's also an online directory you can download that talks about the history of the cemetery and notes about a dozen famous people who are buried here and little biographies of them. You can print that out and carry it around with you. And there's little sign markers at these famous burial places, locations, so you can follow the way around the cemetery with the map and learn more about the local history while you're doing it. Here's a little time chart. You can see in 1820 the Elijah Fish family comes to Michigan. In 1823 or 24, John and Polly Utter Diamond settled here as well. The Utters were tenant farmers looking to farm, make some money so they could buy their own land. You can see the area here on the map. The bottom three families, Willits, Hunter, and Hamilton, that's where downtown Birmingham is now. Mr. Ziba Swan, a doctor, lived directly north of that along Woodward Avenue. The Utters lived in a yellow square here in the map, which would be present-day Woodward and Quarton Road area. And then the Fish family was located just maybe another half a mile north of that. The younger Fish brother, Imrie, took up a job with the Utters as their handyman and farmhand. Then one day in April of 1825, Imrie lost his mind and murdered Mrs. Utter and her 13-year-old daughter in cold blood in the yard of their home with a hatchet. He ran and tried to flee, but was soon apprehended and taken into custody. He was judged not guilty by reason of insanity and housed in the county jail in Pontiac, Michigan, which is just the upstairs quarters of the local sheriff's home. He was sentenced to be maintained in custody in Pontiac, Michigan for the rest of his life. He ended up dying in custody and is most likely buried in some Potter's Field type place in Pontiac. The Utter family needed a place to be buried. There weren't any cemeteries here in Birmingham at the time, so their neighbor, Dr. Ziba Swan, donated this property here in Birmingham to be used perpetually as a cemetery for the people of the city. And it's been grown and taken care of, and it's really nicely maintained. They have a brochure you can download to help find your way around the cemetery. And the most important of the historical markers are tagged with these little green signpost tags that correspond to the numbers on the map of where they're located. The little map also includes a short biography of the important families and burials that are here at the cemetery. It starts with burial number 1, which is the monument to the Utter family. And there's the number 1 right there. This was set up in 1825 in memory of Mrs. Utter and her daughter Cynthia. Mr. Utter passed away just a couple of years after the tragic murder of his wife and daughter. The other children were taken in by relatives and neighbors. I think there were 2 other children. But despite the tragedy, the community continued on and grew and prospered and moved on from the sad events. If you get a chance to come down and check out this cemetery, you'll see the names of all these people here, the udders and the fish and the swans, and all the people who were key members of the founding settlers of Birmingham, Michigan. Take a minute to walk around the cemetery and get to know the people who are so important in the history of your small towns. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.